So it finishes Barcelona 4, Celta Vigo 3. Let's get some reaction from after the game.
Hi, Mr. Flick. Congratulations on the victory. We have seen your team very, very brave, pressing very high, with Frenkie de Jong and Pedri pressing with Iker Losada and with Borja Iglesias, with the strikers of your team. Are you happy how it worked? Are you happy? Are you satisfied with this plan of match?
I say yes. The goal we received, I think it was nothing about that, because normally we press really good, but it was some errors we made. It was very easy also for the opponent to score these goals. But at the end, I'm really appreciated about what we are doing after the 3-1 for Celta, and it was amazing to see that also in this stage that the team is really give everything to never give up, and this is a mentality at the moment here we have. It's really great.
Thanks for talking to ESPN, Danny. So there was a lot of talk about remontada in Spain this week. You were losing 3-1 with 30 minutes to go. You managed to get that comeback, that amazing remontada, with a win that can mean half La Liga maybe?
No, not half, but still a really important one. Of course, these are the games that at the end gets you closer to the goal, which is winning. But still, we have many games, many points to play. We know that it depends on us, and this is our focus.
What a huge turnaround then for Barcelona. Real Madrid go into tomorrow's game against Athletic Club 7 points adrift of Hansi Flick's side. For more on this, let's welcome in Luis Garcia. Luis, what a dramatic game. Chances, of course, of both sides. In the end, it's Barca who get the victory. Got away with one, though, didn't they, today?
Yeah, definitely. We had to wait until the last minute to see that fantastic penalty from Rafinha. But it could have gone the other way if Mingueza finds the net after a not the best header, I'm sure, of his career. But you could see there were two halves. In the first 45, I think that Celta Vigo was more composed, had more options. It should have been not clear, but you could see that Barcelona was struggling. Borja Iglesias was always a threat. And those defensive moments that Barcelona had, I think that most of them, not because of this style of high line of that system, but much more by individual mistakes. First of all, Szczęsny, in the second half, it was Frenkie de Jong, the one who made that mistake. So Barcelona have to recover, and I think the introduction of Lamine Yamal and Dani Olmo made a massive difference in the last third. You could see that there were more dynamism in up front, having the option also to Rafinha on the left side. So in the end, it was a must win for Barcelona to try to increment that gap with Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. They are chasing to him, but definitely not the best performance. Overall, you have to think about what happened last week. Is 3 points, important points, and continue moving forward. The games are coming thick and fast. Now they got midweek game, so the most important is to win 3-3, and like this, you keep away Real Madrid.
Barca's level, Luis, has clearly dropped over recent weeks. That's been apparent. Is this something that they can get back? Can they get that level back? Or is it just a case of tired legs, they're lethargic at the moment, and they're struggling to put in the performances that we saw them start the year with?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit that. It's very difficult to keep that. You are playing a style of football that it demands 100% every single time of fresh legs for all the players, and trying to make that pressure on a high line with that high line is very difficult to keep during 90 minutes. So there are moments where you have to drop a little bit, and they have done it in certain games. But in the end, every single player is doing a lot of work, going up and going forward, and tracking back teams that they are already knowing that they can exploit the Barcelona high line, the spaces they are behind. So all transitions are very important, and they are causing this Barcelona to, of course, to go down a little bit in the fitness side. So I think that this kind of moment, these kind of wins are going to boost the players and try to make them even get better. When the things are going well, your mind, your body give you an extra. And winning that silverware really close for them if they can manage to keep it going. But in the end, like I said, I think it's about trying to keep the consistency.
It could have changed everything, couldn't it? That header goes in, they win 4-3. You look at Real Madrid in action tomorrow. But coming from behind, getting the win, Barca's to lose now completely when it comes to the title.
Absolutely, and you're just at a must-win point of the season. Sort of just get it done, get it over the line. Ask the questions of the rest. It was a must-win for Atleti and their sort of long shot for the title, and I'm being sort of kind at that. They blew it today. Real Madrid tomorrow. We know they're not going to play great because that's what they've been doing recently, but somehow they've got to find a way to win.
Yeah.
To keep the pressure on, because we did see, again, some crazy gaps at the back, some big openings, some poor defending, giving chances away. And if you're Real Madrid, that's what you got to hang your hat on. If we win, they'll start to crumble. You got to try and find a way to convince yourself. But I don't have any trust in them either to go and do it. They've got probably one of the toughest games they've had in a long time. With Athletic Club pitching up to the Bernabeu tomorrow. So you're at a must-win point of the season. I think the worry for Hansi Flick is, when you see the amount of gaps there was in this game, it's not that getting the results and getting over the line in La Liga. It's the huge Champions League semi-final coming up against a very cute, a very clever Inter side, who sort of wait and will drag you on to them. And then they'll hit you over the top with Martinez and Thuram and so forth. And if you leave those kind of gaps, then you're going to do well. If you're just thinking about, well, we'll just outscore Inter, because defensively we know they're very, very good. I know they gave away some goals against Bayern Munich, but generally they're very, very good defensively. And Barcelona have to figure out a way to be better and maybe win some games narrowly, and that would mean being a bit more solid at the back.
The emotion of that win today and the manner of it, Stevie, is a great way to start what is a busy week. Obviously, Mallorca on Tuesday and Copa del Rey on Saturday.
Yeah, for the players, no question. The players will not look as deep as the coaching staff will, but the coaching staff will be a little worried. And the fact that we're talking about they look a little jaded, that's not good news for the back four, because any time what's happening in front of the back four isn't functioning, they look as though they can't deal with it. I mean, the goal Iglesias scores when he's standing on the halfway line on his own, and the other three are standing watching the ball. It's just, that tells you nobody's in charge at the back. So that to me would be the worry. But to your question, the players won't be thinking about that. They're just thinking we came back from the dead.
Luis, meanwhile, bad news for Lewandowski. Out was hearing for 3 weeks is the suggestion. How big of a loss is he, considering the big games that they have coming up?
I think it's a big loss, Dan, because definitely the Lewandowski give you not only is the top scorer, and when you are needed, he's always there into the box, waiting for the crosses of Lamine Yamal, of Rafinha. He attracts a lot of players. He can lie off the ball quite often. He's doing a great job in the last few games. But also because he's experienced for these kind of games. There are moments where you're going to need a player like him to try to lead at the front. Don't forget, Lamine Yamal is a young talent. Behind he's got Fermin, he's got Pedri. They are also very young talented, but they have no experience. So it's a big blow. Considering that Ferran Torres has been doing a great job, even coming off in the second part, or even starting today, did a great job, and he has done it. We'll see if he's the one who's going to be replacing Lewandowski or Dani Olmo. We talked before, doing a false nine work. But again, it's a big blow for this Barcelona side that always with Lewandowski is more dangerous.
But Ferran Torres has improved this season.
He has. And there's been that many games recently, particularly in Spain. I don't remember, but I think, if memory serves me right, Lewandowski was rested for the Copa del Rey semis.
Midweek game, yeah.
Yeah. So he's already missed some. So Ferran Torres has come in and done a job. He surprised me. And where he surprised me is he's always been a little bit unpredictable in the final third.
Hit or miss, yeah.
Hit or miss. Hit or miss in the final third. Which your top players are generally not. Hence the Lewandowskis and the Benzemas and the Erling Haalands, and the list goes on. For him, it's maybe been a bit frustrating about finding his best position. Is it wide? Is it just behind the striker? Is it up front? But at least at this season, whether it's been off the bench, particularly the second half of the season, whether it's been coming off the bench or whether it's because of an injury or Lewandowski or somebody else getting rested, and we know Dani Olmo's missed a fair chunk of games as well. So Ferran Torres has actually done he's been actually one of the most important players in Barcelona's squad, that he has been able to come in and do a job. He has been able to cover, and he has been able to give them end product, final product, and goals. Look, he ain't Lewandowski. He plays a completely different game. But let's be honest about it. He's been a very, very surprisingly good squad player for Hansi Flick.
Back-to-back victories for them as they take all 3 points. Just taking a look at what that means at the bottom of the table. As Craig said, Girona being dragged into it now with that win for Las Palmas. Alaves still yet to play this weekend. They're alongside Leganés. Valladolid, of course, are already down. But this one you feel is going to go right down to the wire as to who will be in La Segunda next season. Luis, obviously, great for Las Palmas. Fantastic result for them. Takes them out of the relegation zone. For Atleti, this was embarrassing, wasn't it?
I think it was. It must have felt like that for the Atletico de Madrid players. You could see by their body language that they were not happy. They were actually frustrated because there was no ideas. Simone was trying to do something different in the second half. He removed Solo that actually was receiving some crosses. So I thought that at that time, because of Las Palmas getting a little bit tired, they could have the option and then replaced by Correa. That after a long period, he has his option. But again, Las Palmas wasn't going to give anything away because a point for them, it was fantastic against Atletico de Madrid. And they found that last option to score that goal who allowed them to believe and to wish to stay in La Liga next season. Atletico de Madrid definitely has been for quite a long time a very, very predictable pedestrian team. No options front. You can replace Solo with Alvarez, with Griezmann, with Correa, with whoever is involved, that you don't feel that this Atletico Madrid is going to change at all. In the middle of the path happened the same with Barrios and Koke, in the same line with the ball of Gallagher. So even though that you got a fantastic team, fantastic long squad, but as soon as you sit at the back and wait to see what the opponent is going to offer you, I think it is difficult to get something. Sometimes it's going to happen because you got talent up front, but you don't see the decided determination of this Atletico Madrid to try to win the game from the first minute. And again, frustrated for the supporters, of course.
Can you give Atleti a pass?
No.
They know that it's over. You know, they haven't got the same motivation as, say, Las Palmas, who are trying to survive.
Well, apparently they've got a motivation to, or they should have, to finish above Real Madrid, which is probably unlikely now, but that was at least some motivation. There can be no pass when you're playing a team in as poor a form as Las Palmas, and you're camped just outside your own box when they have the ball, frightened to death of a team in the bottom three. I mean, it's pathetic. It's a pathetic approach, and it comes from the manager, and he gets a pass every time because they won this and they won that, and they've had some success, and look where they were 10 years ago and all that sort of stuff. It's just not good enough. I'm sorry. You can get pinned back by Real Madrid when they're playing well, or Barcelona, whoever. But how are you getting pinned back? Are you allowing yourself to be pinned back? Every one of your players, including Alexander Soloth in the first half, 10 yards inside their own box. When Las Palmas are on the ball, Stevie mentioned it watching the game, it's kind of like a team of misfits from different countries, of clubs that are not even top clubs, that have got players that they want to loan out. And here we have Atleti, one of the big spenders, one of the elite clubs with a manager who gets paid fortunes, and they are parking the bus in a game where they should be going out and running over the top of Las Palmas. Honestly, it beggars belief. And frankly, you know, how long are we going to sit here, you know, whether it's this season or next season, and continue to say the same thing until eventually they get a manager that is more progressive? Listen, this is the modern game. The game has changed. Very rarely do we see a manager now play this kind of way and have ongoing success. Maybe you have the odd bit of success here and there, but most clubs now, their success is built on a different way of football. You go to every country, it's pretty much the same. I don't like to use the word dinosaur, but whether we like it or not, the game has changed. Keepers are rolling out in the 6-yard box. Centre-halves are standing at the edge of the box. Full-backs are pushing on. The game has evolved. And unfortunately, Simeone and the way his team plays has not evolved. And maybe that's one of the reasons why they are pretty much the nearly men. And this season, very much the same.
giving them a pass is probably the wrong word. Excuse
okay?
me.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, you can't give them a pass because on paper they should be demolishing this team. But I think it just shows you the mental side of the. We always talk about what a huge part the mental side of the game plays. And this is a great example. You've got one team fighting for their lives who are going to run forever to close the ball down and do all the dirty stuff to try and get something. And you've got another team, nearly men, as Craig said, who know they're getting nothing. You know, what's the goal for them? I mean, I guess it's Simeone's job to wind them up, but he can't be saying, right, we can be second here. I mean, really, you're a professional. Somebody's going to say that to you. So this was all about the mental side, and it shows you how tough, even for good players, to get themselves up for a game against an opposition they should beat, but the desire wasn't big enough to win it.
The problem is, Stevie, they're in this position because they've had numerous performances like this against teams that they should have.
This isn't an anomaly, is it?
No, and that's why they're in the scenario where they are in, where it is kind of difficult to get up for it because they've lost against teams this year and played badly against teams this year that they should dominate, should absolutely dominate. Now, you get the odd result that pops up, or you should do, against teams that are relegation fodder when you have a bad day at the office, but they've had way too many for it to be, you know, just a bad day at the office. They've had several this season and quite a few of them since the turn of the year. I mean, they won the last two before this one, but in the previous 5, Atleti that is, they'd lost 4. Lost 4 and drawn 1. So that's what, the last 8 games, they've lost 5. That kind of tells you where they are, and that's why they're in the scenario.
How many years have we been sitting here saying this every year? Pretty much. It feels like we sit here every year around this time and say the same thing. And that can only mean one thing. The guy in charge has to be changed.
Well, it looks like the guy in charge of Real Madrid will be changed at the end of the season. The Athletic reporting that Ancelotti will leave at the end of this campaign. Still, of course, to fight for La Liga and the Copa del Rey. But regardless of the results in those 2 tournaments, he will be gone. Luis, this is no surprise, is it?
No, it's no surprise because we had that before. We heard it last year. I remember that there was options of Xabi Alonso maybe arriving. Jurgen Klopp was also on the list. There was a few more. They were on the list because Ancelotti was leaving to Brazil as a head coach, if I recall well. And this, again, is the same rumors. We have to wait until the end of the season because, of course, it's going to be difficult for Real Madrid to win the La Liga trophy, but the option of the Copa del Rey is there. If they win the Copa del Rey in La Liga, why not? People will have changed and the rumors will disappear. So rumors are always there when things are not going the way that everyone is expecting. And, of course, journalists, they like to throw that bone. But I think that at the moment, Ancelotti, and he has said it many, many times, he's happy at Real Madrid. And if Real Madrid give him the option to stay one more year, he will stay.
You've seen this scenario in Madrid. When those players come out tomorrow to play a team that, an athletic club, that could outplay them at home, could give them a bit of a football lesson at home because they're one of the better teams to watch. When those players come out for the warm-up tomorrow, the Real Madrid players, minus Mbappe for his suspension, what will the reaction be?
It won't be kind. It won't be kind. So, they lost midweek.
Yeah, so they're already getting a bit of stick. They're starting to feel the pressure from the crowd, if they haven't been already. They're going to be getting whistled and jeered before this game, and they have the Copa del Rey, which will be 6 days later. If Athletic Club play in the manner in which we know they can, and they have been for a big chunk of this season, is there any way we can see, particularly the way Vinicius has been playing, and Rodrigo and Bellingham and 1 or 2 others, it's hard to see how they just switch it on and get a victory.
Yeah.
So I can honestly...
Especially as everyone thought they were going to switch it on against Arsenal. It's Champions League, remontada, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, they're going to come out 20 minutes. Arsenal are going to be struggling. They're going to be on the ropes. They're going to be on the floor. That's what Real Madrid do. They can't. And, you know, it's difficult to find a pathway, the way these players are playing, to actually see how they're going to beat Athletic Club tomorrow.
Yep.
And if that happens, what kind of mind frame is that for these players in this club going into that big game against Barcelona?
They're
going to be on the floor.
Yeah.
How ironic would it be, though, if he goes back to the old Bellingham play, coming through the middle, and they play really well?
Because, of course, Mbappe's out.
Yes, because Mbappe. How ironic would that be? Right? You find an answer and you can't use it. when Mbappe's fit.
All right, Alanis Morissette, thank you very much. Thank you, Luis. Much appreciated as always. Just a reminder then, Real Madrid against Athletic Club live for you tomorrow. Coverage starts at 2:30 Eastern, a massive game at the Santiago Bernabeu. 4-1 win for them, thoroughly deserved against the Carabao Cup winners. And of course, the fight very much on for a top 5 place now for Unai Emery's side. Aston Villa up to 6th, level on points with Nottingham Forest, who play on Monday. Newcastle remain 3rd, of course, in that tight group battling for a place in the top 5. Now, Stevie, I've used the word mediocre quite a lot to describe Premier League games this season.
He's beat me to it, hasn't he?
That was anything but. That was brilliant.
He's beat me to it. Oh. I couldn't wait to throw that at you.
Oh, no, I'm not going to sit here and go,
no. One swallow doesn't make a summer, does it?
But this was great. Villa in particular.
It was great. Well, because it was great because both teams tried to win it from the first whistle to the last. And Aston Villa really surprised me because considering what happened to them in the midweek, you would have thought there would have been a little hangover. But there actually wasn't. And, I mean, it was 4-1. It could have been 6 or 7, quite frankly. So, yeah, Aston Villa look as though they're the ones that are pushing to certainly the top 5.
You talk about timing for putting a run. Newcastle as well, today apart. I've been coming with a late season great run, great form. Been terrific to watch. And the Carabao Cup win over Liverpool was part of that. And same for Villa. You know, Villa at one point, you know, just after Christmas, looked as if they were hitting, they were up and they were down and they were down to 9th or whatever it was. I think maybe even mid-table. But they've just timed this perfectly and they're playing as well as anybody. I mean, if buts and maybe, but they had enough really, and I mean really good chances to be in the semi-final of the Champions League.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, PSG won and PSG are a good side, but they really huffed and puffed and probably should have scored more than they did in that game. And they were very, very unfortunate, a very good account of themselves. But as Stevie said, to go from that and the energy you've expended from that and the disappointment of that, to play one of the informed teams in the Premier League and put in that kind of performance, absolutely. I mean, we talk about Unai Emery a lot, and Eddie Howe obviously has done a great job. He's unwell at the moment. But Unai Emery at Aston Villa, you know, quarter-final of the Champions League, you know, what they're doing in the league form, the squad that they're building, it's about as good as anybody in the Premier League.
And the thing is, with that squad, everyone just seems to be up in their game at the moment, at exactly the right time.
Well, when you have a solid squad of 22 and you actually have genuine battling for places, that's what you get because everybody's in the edge. You know, generally, when you sat on the bench, Dan, I don't know about you, but I know our lot, we were sitting talking, we were hardly watching again.
Right.
But when you...
What are you talking about?
but when you're desperate to play and you know that every opportunity you get, you have to be good, then you're concentrating, you're sitting there, you can't wait. And it's the same every day in training because you have to do it in training because the manager's watching. So that's exactly what they've got. They've got a talented squad and every single one in the squad's fighting for a place.
So it finishes Everton 0, Manchester City 2. Stevie, I've used the word mediocre quite a lot this season.
Well, that would have been an understatement on this occasion, Danny boy.
This was tough, wasn't it?
This was...
Watching City's tough these days.
Yeah, it is really
tough watching them these days.
Yeah.
They won the game in the last 15 minutes, is what they did. Because up until then, you couldn't really argue that Everton were just ahead on points. But then a little change of gear when it was needed and they end up getting the 2 goals. But I've got to say, they're becoming unwatchable. I mean, it's like watching robots. If you really were going to talk about Man City right now, you have to say that they look as though they're overcoached.
But De Bruyne did look like, think of the 5-2 against Palace last week. That was exciting. That was kind of...
But that's because they had no choice. They were 2-0 down, so they had to throw the shackles off and gamble.
I wondered what you were throwing off there.
That's the shackles. I'm throwing the shackles off.
They should have been 3-0. No, but seriously, I'm 3-0 down, maybe 4.
I'm watching this and I'm thinking, you know, it's one thing to have a plan, how you want to go about it and how you want to play. But during a game of football, there are things that are thrown at you that you don't follow the plan. Right. You know, you've got to play what the game gives you. But City don't do that. You know, the number of times balls came back out, landed about 35 yards from goal to either Diaz or whoever it may be in the middle of the park, they never once thought or lifted their head or looked as though they were going to try and shoot, try and score, try and play a killer pass. Every single time, they never even looked forward. They went like that, sideways, and put it wide. And then when it went wide, surprise, surprise, it came back again. Right. So it's almost robotic. And then, as I said, the last 15 minutes, they made a couple of changes. You know, Kovacic did make a difference, particularly, and Dokic as well. So, but after... Doku, I beg your pardon. But before that, oh my goodness.
But it's all about the top 5. Sorry,
let's talk about it then.
No.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see.
I misspoke.
You mentioned that.
I misspoke. No, get it off. Get it off. What I meant to say, it was all about Champions League football.
You should have said Dokic.
Top 5.
Change the subject.
Right, no, I didn't mean it. They are going to get there, right? This is
so City will be fine, yeah.
Yeah. To me, the ones that are struggling at the moment, are, if you're interested in the top 5, are Forest and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Under pressure, not playing well, not a good time to be doing so. To go back to City, they're going to be in the Champions League, and for them that is important. Very, very important. But really it's all about what version are we going to get of them next year, because this season's gone, it's a wash, right? And as I say, the only other disaster was they would finish outside the Champions League. It's very, very unlikely now. But what are we going to get next year, even when they do spend money? I don't even think the manager knows if he can resurrect this City team. Now, when he came in to start with for his City tenure, it was a slow process, and they built it, and he knew what he wanted, and before, you know, within a year or 18 months or whatever it was, they were purring, and they were the team to beat. I don't even think he knows next year how they're going to look. And I think for City, that's going to be what it's all about. Are they going to be back in the mix next year with spending money and getting Rodri back? Or are we going to be seeing the same issues that they've been hampered with this season, which really was a big surprise to most of us? But what version of City is going to turn up in August in the Premier League next year? That's going to be one of the key questions.
Just a little one in the top 5. I was thinking today, I thought really it was between Villa and Forest for the last spot.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yes, yeah.
But watching Newcastle today, I'm thinking, Eddie Howe being away for too long could really affect him. Because I'll tell you 100%, when the manager isn't there, things are not the same.
Right.
There's a little edge that
Is it like
goes
at school?
off. It's 100% like a school. When the head teacher's not there, or whoever it is, and it's the sub comes in, it's completely different. That might be the one thing that they're up against Newcastle, because if Eddie Howe is away for a long period of time, that could knock them down a peg or two.
So a big statement from Aston Villa and Manchester City, of course, for this race to the top 5. Some big games to come on Sunday and Monday. Chelsea away against Fulham. They, of course, were booed off midweek in their European tie. And then Monday, Spurs against Nottingham Forest.
If you think about it, maybe it could be the first title for you as a coach. What would that mean?
Come on,
Come on, I'm just trying.
It wouldn't be the first title though. We won the league with Burnley with 101 points. So
yes, but not the.
It's a title. It's a big title. It was very important. So no, look, it wouldn't be the first one, nor as a coach, nor as a player, but the job still has to be done. So I don't want to speculate too much. And I get your point, but my experience is just that. In these moments, you stay calm, you focus on your games. Next game is at home. It's a tough game. And still continue our winning momentum, that's important.
No team having a 6-point advantage at this stage of the season has lost the title. What would you say?
I think it's more simple than that. I think we're still in a mindset that we want to respond, we want to react, we want to show many things in a football way, and for us the 4 games are an opportunity to do that. And at the end of the day, we've been a good team this season. We think we will be a good team in the next 4 games. Of course we want to win the league, but we also want to give ourselves the momentum for more. There's a Club World Cup soon. In 5 months' time, there's a new Champions League, and we just want to continue building and becoming a better team.
Any regrets talking about the Champions League?
Yeah, the good thing in football is nobody cares about the next game, about the last game when the next game is good. The game today was brilliant. We cannot change the past, so we have to focus on the future.
Djokovic would be.
Stevie, stop coughing, Craig. Right, Bayern Munich then, 9 points clear at the top of the table by Leverkusen in action on Sunday. Let's get more reaction, shall we, to Bayern's victory with Ken Ali.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, Bayern bouncing back from what's been a difficult week, getting the job done today against Heidenheim. 4-0 it finished, getting it done early as well, Ale.
They did, and I suppose the only question coming into this match is whether Bayern Munich were still going to be hung up on what happened in Champions League and how much of a disappointment that was for Bayern Munich. And the truth of the matter is that we didn't see any evidence of that. They were not hung up on anything thinking about Inter. They were thinking about how do we get this game done in the first 45 minutes, and they did that and more. Look, it was all Bayern Munich all the time. Not that we would be surprised or expected something different, but in this sort of matches in the past, it's been difficult for Bayern Munich to generate momentum, to create chances. Their possession seems to be unnecessarily slow. That wasn't the case today. Everything was dynamic. The movement with the ball was really good. The movement without the ball was really good. Movement ahead of the ball, getting in behind, finding spaces, scoring goals. The only thing that you could say about Bayern Munich is that while they were up 3-0 at halftime, it could have been and it should have been 6-0. Harry Kane scores a nice goal to begin with, but missed a few chances. That's the one thing that you can say, hey, maybe there was an issue there, but not really. It was 4-0 in the end, and it was really a glorified training session in the second half.
Yeah, he could have had a few more, Harry Kane. However, it's 60 goals in 60 Bundesliga games now for him. It's 24 on the season. That is a record with Harry Kane. He beats out Erling Haaland's record of 60 in 65. They are some figures, Ale.
They are, but I got to tell you, today is not the day to bring up that figure because he could have had 61, 62, 63. Look, he's been outstanding for Bayern Munich and was really good today. He took his goal well. His link-up play was really good. His movement was sharp. But on the whole, the movement of Bayern Munich in the attack was really good. And if there was one thing that if they look back against Inter is that while they created chances, they didn't take those opportunities. Today, they missed a few, but they also scored for. The countdown is on. Let's not kid ourselves. The countdown is on for them and for everybody else. They know that they're about to win this thing, and so does Leverkusen, and so does everybody else that they're playing for second, third, and fourth. Bayern Munich is going to go on to win this, to nobody's surprise. It's been over for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. All they need now, regardless of what happens elsewhere, is 2 more wins in the games that remain, and you definitely wouldn't count them out for that. So that's how things stand so far when it comes to the Bundesliga title race. Here we have a look at what's coming up tomorrow. Augsburg taking on Frankfurt. Ali and I will be with you bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern, ESPN 2 and ESPN Plus, and more games coming in the Bundesliga tomorrow. Borussia Dortmund will take on Borussia Mönchengladbach, and St. Pauli will host Leverkusen. So be sure to be with us for all your Bundesliga coverage. Back to you, Dan.
Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Craig's here. Stevie, you've got your phone today?
Aye.
Oh, how did that happen?
I've no idea. Just say. God, I tell you what, it's great not having a phone.
Oh, lovely.
Aye.
Like the old days.
Like
It's
the old
magic, aye. Nobody can get you.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
No one's nagging. Who would be nagging you?
Nobody. I've got nobody in my life.
No.
Nags me. No.
There's no way in the world he could do without his phone. Over a long period of time.
Aye, good job you did that.
For Craig.
No, most of us could. Him on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
holy
yeah.
smokes.
No. For Craig, thoughts on the United comeback? Real Madrid-esque. I think we're all waiting to hear from you, you Scottish salmon. As Jan kept calling him a Scottish salmon on Wednesday.
Well, I watched a bit at the end of the Tottenham game in Frankfurt. They were hanging on. And then United were cruising against Lyon and then went into extra time. Then when Lyon took the 2-goal lead, that was it. But to be fair, I mean, you can look at it 2 ways. Lyon were just disastrous defensively. But 3 goals in however many minutes was just...
7, yeah.
Yeah,
it was 7 minutes.
Bonkers, wasn't it?
It was just,
you were working that day.
It was just incredible.
I couldn't believe it.
Well, they have the toughest tie now in the semi-finals, don't they? They have Athletic Club.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
They are the best team left.
Yeah, most definitely.
In competition. But it was a hell of a comeback.
Stevie, if Liverpool are at their prime, so Liverpool at their best this season, take on Barcelona side when they were at their best, who would win?
I'm going to say Liverpool because of Barcelona's
Because of
defence.
bias.
No. No. No, not at all. Not at all. The one weakness that Barcelona have always had this season that at times the opposition didn't take advantage of was the high line. You couldn't say that about Liverpool until obviously they ran out of juice and started losing some games. So I would just marginally put Liverpool in the driving seat.
Would you? A draw? Get off the fence, Burley. Come on, you're better than
I
that.
didn't know Darky was on the day.
What was the ugliest kit you had to have to wear?
Coventry's.
Oh, yeah, that's when your kit man forgot.
Forgot the away kit.
Your away kit when you were at Chelsea.
Yeah, Biff was playing. We had the Chelsea socks on. I believe we had our own shorts, and we had Coventry's checkered kit. So that wasn't it. And we played like.
Did you play bad? Did you lose?
I think it was 2-1 or 3-1 at Highfield.
Right.
Was it Highfield Road?
Yes.
Highfield Road, the
old one.
Yeah, that was. Can't remember too many other of our own kits, but that was a horrible one.
What about you, Stevie?
Green and white, Liverpool.
The candy one?
Aye.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Oh,
that's a bit of a classic, though, isn't it?
No. And plus I'm a Rangers fan, so that doesn't go down well either.
Oh.
What about that Scotland kit you wore back in the day with the band and the shorts?
Oh, that was all right.
You liked that?
Aye, that was all right.
That was the 80s kit, wasn't it?
Right.
Aye.
So the green candy you weren't a
The
favourite?
green can, yeah. The one at Notts County was one of those multicoloured things.
Right.
It was horrible.
What about that Man United kit when they lost at Southampton?
The grey one,
The
yeah,
grey
they made
one.
it
Did they? I don't think they ever wore it again, did they?
Well, no, they changed it at half-time, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Aye, they
Yeah.
did,
Yeah, Fergie was not happy.
They did.
When you were at the Revs, how much input did you have on the kit design?
Zero. Zero. And I can tell you, the person who was heavily involved in it
Right.
wouldn't know the shape of a soccer ball.
Okay.
Honestly, unbelievable. I'll leave it at that.
Oh dear, there's a point of contention. What would you have had different?
Well, just certain things. Certain things when they'd already picked. Generally, they'd already picked it.
Right.
So there was no input.
But what certain things? What do you mean? What would you have changed?
Oh, I can't remember exactly. I just remember a certain person who picked it
Right.
coming into the office going with a big smile on their face, as if they were like waiting for a round of applause or something. You know what I mean?
But that's their job, isn't it? They don't. Why do they need to know about soccer if they're designing?
I missed something.
No.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know.
Aye,
What was
aye.
this kit?
Yeah, it's interesting you said that was the line. You said that this is their job now. Somehow, for some political thing that goes on in businesses, this person somehow got to choose the strap.
Right. I just meant in general, and then it seems to be a bit of a sore point.
Yeah, it used to annoy me.
Oh.
Aye, it did.
But you still haven't really explained what you would have done differently.
It's not like there was something on it and I go, oh, can't believe that's on it. I can't remember exactly.
Right.
Do you know when you got an itch and somebody starts
Steady.
it off?
Right.
You want
yes.
to just claw it.
Right.
Well, that's what I felt like when you mentioned that scenario.
Wow.
I can't remember the exact details,
got
but it's
somebody
given
so
me.
annoyed.
It's given me the. I want to start clawing
I
at
feel
it.
like it's more personal with the person who designed it than the actual kit.
You probably.
Was there some history
You're
there?
probably getting close to it.
Right.
Aye. No names, no. No.
Okay, all right. Stevie, if you could somehow get away with it, would you rather manage right down the drain? Oh, would you rather manage right down the drain and leave in shambles? Oh, Manchester United, Celtic, or England? So if you come in and manage it and ruin one of those teams,
I think I know who this is.
I would say England.
No.
No?
No. Not at all. Not at all.
Celtic?
No.
Right. Manchester
Well, there's only one left, isn't there?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, good counting, Dan.
So you hate Manchester United more than those two other sides?
Yes, yeah, I've got, yeah,
Wow.
I would say so,
I
yeah.
wouldn't have guessed that.
No.
There we are.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
Do
Even Celtic got away with it.
Do the guys have a hard time falling asleep at night?
No. Oh, Jesus, no.
No. No. No.
That's a definite no. Start, bench or drop these midfield trios. Gravenberch, McAllister, Soboslai. Tonali, Guimaraes, Joelinton. Or Tielemans, Morgan Rogers, McGinn.
Okay, so I am dropping. I'm probably going to. I'm definitely playing. I'm definitely starting the Liverpool midfield.
Right.
It's not even close.
Right.
At the moment, the way they played the bulk of the season, and I'm probably. I would probably go bench the Newcastle midfield.
Oof.
And drop, and only slightly, the Villa. That's where I would go.
Wow. Yeah, you'd agree?
Yeah, I'm 100% with Craig, yeah.
Final question, Stevie. Should West Ham regret letting David Moyes leave? West Ham drew 1-1 with Southampton today, of course.
You mean...
Oh, look, there's the table.
Should they regret letting them go again? They let them go twice. Yeah, that's the classic, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
OK, that is it. That brings us to the end of today's show. ESPN FC, of course, returns tomorrow. Big game in La Liga. Real Madrid against Athletic Club. Must win for Carlo Ancelotti's side. Be sure to... I don't know, Man United Wolves. No one cares about that.
Top 5.